Abraham lived in the land of Canaan, and Lot lived in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent as far as Sodom. Abraham lived in the land of Canaan symbolizes the inner self and its focus on the heavenly attributes of love. And Lot lived in the cities of the plain symbolizes the outer self and its focus on facts. And pitched his tent as far as Sodom means extending to the point of corrupt desire. The symbolism of Abram lived in the land of Canaan as the inner self and its focus on the heavenly attributes of love is established by the symbolism of the land of Canaan as the heavenly attributes of love discussed several times already. The symbolism of and Lot lived in the cities of the plain as the outer self and its focus on facts can be seen from the representation of Lot as the outer self and from the symbolism of a city or cities as doctrinal tenets. Doctrinal teachings in and of themselves are nothing but facts when they are portrayed as belonging to the outer self. Once this has separated from the inner. The symbolism of cities as tenets of doctrine, both true and false, was shown above in section 402. And pitched his tent as far as Sodom means extending to the point of corrupt desire. This is established by the symbolism of Sodom as such desire mentioned above at verse 10. These words correspond to those in verse 10 above, saying that the plain of the Jordan was all well watered, like the garden of Jehovah, like the land of Egypt, as you come to Zoar. The subject there was the outer self when it has become one with the inner self, and the land of Egypt as you come to Zoar symbolized facts acquired as a result of positive emotions. Lot settling in the cities of the plain and pitching his tent as far as Sodom here symbolizes the outer self when it has not become one with the inner, and the city symbolize facts acquired as a result of negative emotions or of corrupt desires. Verse 10 portrayed the beauty of the outer self when united with the inner, but the present verse depicts its ugliness when not united. The next verse goes even further by saying, and the men of Sodom were very evil and sinful against Jehovah. Anyone can see how ugly the outer self is when separated from the inner by considering the remarks of the leading role played by self-love and self-centered cravings in dividing the two. The beauty of the outer self when united with the inner is equaled. What is equaled? Like equal, maybe. Yeah, it's like be equal. Yeah, it's a verb. It's not like equal, but be equal. Correspond. It's a verb because equaled. Mhm. Uh-huh. It's equaled by its ugliness when divided. The outer self regarded in itself exists for no purpose but to serve the inner self. It is a kind of tool for covering goals into useful efforts, useful efforts, efforts, yeah, efforts, not efforts.
Efforts.
efforts. Efforts. Into useful efforts and embodying those efforts in an effect, bringing everything to perfect completion. The opposite happens when the outer self detaches from the inner and aims to serve itself alone, or even worse, to control the inner self. This course is action is inspired chiefly by self-love and its desires as shown. Hello, everyone, and maybe any comments, and maybe someone wants to read next verse.
I read
Yeah. Hello. Go ahead.
Genesis 13:13. And the men of Sodom were very evil and sinful against Jehovah. The men of Sodom were evil and sinful against Jehovah symbolizes the point of corrupt desire to which facts extended. The symbolism of the men of Sodom were very evil and sinful against Jehovah as the point of corrupt desire to which facts extended can be seen from the following. Sodom symbolizes corrupt desire or cravings, as mentioned previously, and men symbolize intellectual and rational matters. Here, they symbolize facts because they are attributed to the outer self separated from the inner. The symbolism of men as intellectual or rational matters has also been demonstrated before. Facts are said to extend to the point of corrupt desire when our only goal in learning them is to gain prestige rather than to use them to help us become good. All facts exist for this purpose to enable us to become rational and therefore wise, and in this way serve the inner self. Shall I continue or?
Yeah, it was short. Yeah, if you can, go ahead.
Genesis 13:14. And Jehovah said to Abram, after Lot separated from him, please raise your eyes and look out from the place there where you are toward the north and toward the south and toward the east and toward the west. Jehovah said to Abram means this is the way Jehovah talked to the Lord. After Lot separated from him means when the cravings of his outer self had been put aside so as not to get in the way, please raise your eyes and look out from the place there where you are, symbolizes the Lord's state at that time, from which he could perceive what was to come, toward the north and toward the south and toward the east and toward the west, symbolizes absolutely everyone in the universe. Jehovah said to Abram means this is the way Jehovah talked to the Lord, as can be seen from the inner sense of the word, in which Abram means the Lord. It can also be seen from the actual state he was then in, which is depicted here.
Depicted here. What? Where are you? Mm.
I'm sorry, which book is that?
It's Secrets of Heaven. This is book. This book. You can see
Okay, thank you.
by Manuel Swedenborg. Mm-hmm. Who wants who wants to continue? Maybe because previous reader left. Mm-hmm.
Now read two.
Yeah, you can read from the top. Yeah, from here. Mm-hmm. Maybe
Okay.
mhm, previous reader left because of internet connection. Maybe she lost.
Jehovah said to Abram means that this is the way Jehovah talked to the Lord, as can be seen from the inner sense of the word, in which Abram means the Lord. It can also be seen from the actual state he was then in, which is depicted here. The state was one in which superficial traits that would get in the way were put aside, and it is symbolized by the words after Lot separated from him. The Lord's inner being was divine because he was born of. So naturally, when there were no obstacles on the part of his outer self, he saw the whole future. The reason this presented itself at the time as speak by Jehovah is that the
Hello.
viewpoint
Sorry, you can continue.
by Jehovah is that the viewpoint was that of his outer self in regard to his inner self. He was one with Jehovah, as the Lord himself teaches in John. Philip said, "Show us the Father." Jesus said to him, "After all the time I've spent with you, don't you know me, Philip? Whoever says me sees the Father. How then can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Don't you believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? Believe me that I'm in the Father and the Father is in me." Should I continue?
Yeah, you can finish this verse. Mm-hmm. If if you can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. After Lot separated from him means when the cravings of this outer self had been set aside, so as not to get in the way. This is established by representation of Lot as his outer self and by the previous statement that Lot separated
Mm-hmm. Separated himself.
himself, that is, impediments separated themselves. When they had been put aside, his inner self, Jehovah, became ununified.
Unified. It's like
Unified with his.
united. I think united, unified. Became united. Yeah. Became. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Unified.
Uniform. Mm-hmm, like whole united.
How about impediments? Can we check, please?
Yeah. I thought about that too.
Impediments.
Impediments. It's like impediments. It's like obstacle, difficulty. Maybe it's better to see picture impediments to memorize this word because this word is like difficult for memorizing, and maybe from picture we can I can better memorize that, and we can better understand. Independence, like obstacle, Inde, inde, im, impediments. Impediments. What is this impediments? You see, it's like the way. Yeah, but you see, it's like narrow way. Yeah, into any obstacle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is stop escalating impediments. This picture is like it's about impediment. Yeah, do you see? It's a stone on the way,
Yes,
on the road,
yes.
and this is impediment. Okay. Yeah, and this is impediment too. Hmm. It's like you cannot go your way. Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
When they had been put aside, his inner self, Jehovah, became unified with his outer self, the Lord's human quality. Outward traits are the only incompatible elements. The elements described as blocking the inner self from integrating with the outer self and acting on it. The outer self is only a kind of tool or organ in itself devoid of life that receives life from the inner self. When it does, it appears as if it contains inherent life. In the Lord, however, even the organic parts of his human nature receive life after he had purified them by ridding himself of the evil he had inherited. Just as the Lord's could you
Mm-hmm.
swatch
What do you say?
yeah, this page.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
After he had purified them by ridding himself of the evil he had inherited, just as the Lord's inner being was life itself, then his outer being too became life itself. This is what his attainment of glory means in John.
Attainment. What is this?
Attainment.
Attainment. Mm-hmm. It's like knowledge, progress. Uh, this word,
Acquisition.
acquisition. Mhm. It's like
Purchase.
purchase, purchase, attainment, attainment of glory.
Jesus says, now the Son of humankind has gained glory, and God has gained glory in him. If God has gained glory in him, God will also make him glorious in his own self, and will make him glorious immediately. In the same other, Father, the hour has come. Give glory to your Son, so that your Son may also give glory to you. Now, therefore, make me glorious, you, Father, in your own self, with the glory that I had in you before the world existed. In the same author, Jesus said, Father, make your name glorious. So a voice went out from heaven. I both have made it glorious and will again make it glorious. Please raise your eyes and look out from the place there where you are symbolizes the Lord's state at that time, from which he could perceive what was to come. This is established by the symbolism of raising one's eyes and seeing, which means being enlightened and perceiving, discussed above at first hand, and by the inner level symbolism of a place as a state or condition. Section blah 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 showed that what a place means is a state. The symbolism of toward the north and toward the south and toward the east and toward the west as absolutely everyone in the universe can be seen from the meaning of these directions. North, south, east, and west each symbolize something of their own in the word. The north symbolizes people outside the church, that is, people who are in the dark as far as the truth of the faith go. It also symbolizes the darkness inside a person. The South, on the other hand, symbolizes people in the church, that is, people who are in light as far as religious knowledge goes. Likewise, it symbolizes the light itself. The East symbolizes people who have gone before and heavenly love too, as shown before. The West, on the other hand, symbolizes people yet to come, and likewise people lacking love. What each symbolizes can be seen from the running thread of their meaning. When all the directions are mentioned, however, as north, south, east, and west are here, They symbolize everyone now alive in the whole inhabited world, and in addition those who have gone before and those yet to come. They also symbolize different states of love and faith in the human race. Genesis.
Thank you. Mhm.
Okay.
Who is next? Next verse, who wants to read?
Shall I
I think,
continue?
yeah,
Oh,
Ihan want to be the next.
oh, shall I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Genesis 13:15, because all the land that you see, to you I will give it, and to your seed forever. Because all the land that you see, to you I will give it, symbolizes the kingdom of heaven and the fact that it would be the Lord's, and to your seed forever symbolizes the people who would believe in him. Because all the land that you see, to you I will give it, symbolizes the kingdom of heaven and the fact that it would be the Lord's. This can be seen from the symbolism of the land. Here, the land of Canaan, since it says, the land that you see as the kingdom of heaven. The land of Canaan represented the Lord's kingdom in the heavens, heaven, and his kingdom on earth, the church, a symbolism that has been discussed several times earlier. Many places in the Word indicate that the Lord was given a kingdom in heaven and on earth in Isaiah, for example. A child has been born, a son has been given to us, and sovereignty will be on his shoulder, and his name will be called Miraculous, Counselor, God, Hero, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. In Daniel, I was seeing in visions at night, and there, in the clouds of the heavens, it was as if the Son of humankind was coming, and he came to the Ancient One, and they brought him before the Ancient One, and he was given power to rule, and glory, and kingship, and all peoples, nations, and tongues will serve him. His ruling power is eternal power that will not pass away, and his kingship one that will not perish,
Kinship, like comradeship, but kingdom and kinship.
and his
Kingship.
kingdom.
Kingdom, and in this sense, like reign, I think, like royal power. Kinship, kinship, like royal power. Because yeah, we can say it's like kingdom too, but it's like I think it's about power and training.
The Lord himself also says this in Matthew. Everything has been turned over to me and by my Father. And Luke. In another place in Matthew, authority in heaven and on earth,
Authority or authority?
authority, maybe
Mm-hmm.
authority.
Yeah, you said like authority.
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 Yeah,
Authority.
authority.
Mhm. Authority. It's like law, power.
Mhm. Has been given to me. You have in John, you have given your son authority over all flesh, so that to all that you have given him he may give eternal life. The same thing is means by sitting on his right side.
And and
I meant sorry, because I
mhm.
can't see.
It's
The following.
passive voice. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The
You meant.
same thing is meant by sitting on his right side, as in Luke. From this time now, the Son of Humankind will be sitting on the right side of God's strength. All authority in the heavens and on earth was given to the Son of Humankind. But it is important to realize that the Lord has authority over everything in the heavens and on earth before he came into the world. He was God from eternity and Jehovah, as he himself clearly says in John. Now make me glorious, you, Father, in your own self, with the glory that I had in you before the world existed. And in the same order, truly, truly, I say to you, before Abraham existed, I existed. After all, he was Jehovah and God to the people of the earliest church, the church before the flood, and was visible to them. He was also Jehovah and God to the ancient church, the church after the flood. And he was the one whom all the rituals of the Jewish religion represented and whom the Jews would worship. The reason he says that all authority in heaven and on earth was given to him, as if it was then happening for the first time, is that Son of Humankind means his human quality. Once his quality had become one with his divine quality, it too was Jehovah, and at that same time possessed authority. This could be this could never have happened before he had acquired his glory. That is, before his human nature had also come to have life in itself. Through union with his divine nature, and so had likewise become divine, had become Jehovah. He says so in John. Just as the Father has life in himself, he has also granted the Son to have life in himself. His human nature or outer self is also what Daniel calls son of humankind in the passage quoted above, and Isaiah in the passage quoted refers to it with words, a child has been born and a son has been given to us. He now saw and was promised that he would be given the kingdom of heaven and all power in heavens and on earth, which is symbolized by the words, all the land that you see, to you I will give it, and to your seed after you forever. This was before his human quality had become one with his divine quality, which happened when he completely overcame the devil and hell. That is to say, it happened when he rid himself of all evil, the only incompatible element by his own power and his own strength.
Incompatible. It's like party. It's like separation.
Incompatible.
Inconsistent. Incompatible. It's like characters. Yeah.
Inconsistent.
Inconsistent. Like if people are divorced, it means that they have incompatible characters. Yeah, we can say
Mhm.
in this sense, incompatible.
The symbolism of "and to your seed forever" as the people who would believe in him can be seen from the symbolism of seed as faith, specifically the faith that comes of charity as discussed earlier. The Lord's own words in John make it plain that it was his seed people believing in him who would be given the kingdom of heaven. The Father loves the Son and has given everything into his hand. Those who believe in the Son have eternal life. but those who do not believe in the Son will not see life. And in the same order, as many as did accept him, to them to gave the power of God's children, to those believing in his name, not from blood or from the flesh's will or from a man's will. These words show what faith is or belief in the Lord. It exists in people who accept and believe in him, not because of the flesh's will or because of a man's will. The will of the flesh means something opposite to love and charity, since flesh symbolizes such an opposite. And a man's will means something opposite to the faith that comes of love or charity, which is what a man symbolizes. The flesh
Flashes.
will fleshes and the
Mhm.
fleshes will
Flenches.
flesh
I think it's
and
drawn. I think it
yeah,
once. And
fleshes.
flashes. It's like it's flash, but this word like one word. Yeah, flashes.
Fleshes, yeah. The flesh's will and a man's will are what divide, but love and the faith that comes of love are what unite. So people who have love and the faith that comes of love are the same ones born of God, and because they are born of God, they are called God's children.
Do you know this construction? It's a flashes. It's a possessive case. Yeah, like cat's house, for example. Yeah, cat's house. It's we can say the house of cat, the house of my cat. Like, and you can say cat's house. It's like possessive case, grammar construction, and God's children like possessive case too.
So how does it pronounce? Like goddess or God? Just gods.
Gods like cat's house, for example. Cat's house is the house of cat. Yeah, where
Yeah.
my cat lives. My cat lives in his little house, and it's like cat's house, possessive case.
Gods.
Yeah, gods,
Mhm.
gods. It's not is because we can write the we can read this like God is, but it's not God is.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
God's children because it's possessive case. It's not predicate here. Because
yeah.
if we want to translate correctly, we should see we should do syntactic analysis, and it's like grammar construction
It's
because
like like the ownership of that word, right?
yeah, what belongs to because predicate here, subject here is they, like pronoun, and are
Mhm.
called. What is predicate? Predicate is called like two verbs, where
Mhm.
are is auxiliary verb, and called is the third form of regular verb. And because and God's children are object here, object like because it's not predicate. Predicate are called here.
Okay.
That because this is a possessive case.
Actually, I'm still confused about that when there is another S, because yeah, what I know
Mhm.
is that like God is children, but that's not the real
Yeah,
word,
like
right?
it's belonging, like cat's
Mm-hmm.
house. We
Mm-hmm.
can say if I want to talk about children of God, I can say this by two ways. I can say
Mm-hmm.
like children of God, children of God, and I can
Yes.
say God's children, like the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where did I stop? Okay, I think.
They also
They are also his seed who will inherit the kingdom of heaven, as symbolized by the words of present verse. All the land that you see I will give to you and to your seed forever. Anyone willing simply to think about it is capable of seeing that the kingdom of heaven cannot be given to people whose faith is devoid of charity. That is, people who say they have faith and yet hate their neighbor. This kind of faith cannot have any life in it, since hatred, hell, in other words, constitutes its life. Hell consists of pure hatred, not the kinds of hatred that we inherit, but the kinds that we secure for ourselves by the way we actually live.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. It's the next. It is my turn. Genesis 13:16. And I will make your seed like the dust of the earth, in that if anyone can count the dust of the earth, your seed too will be counted. Mhm. And I will make your seed like the dust of the earth, and that if anyone can count the dust of the earth, your seed too will be counted. It's like a uh, big family, yeah, and big society, like a lot of
Yeah, I
friends,
think
yeah,
so.
because yeah, how do you understand that?
Like
Mm,
multiplying, having your I will make your seed like the dust of the earth means multiplying beyond measure. Like family of the family of the family. Like that's what I was thinking, right? You know.
yeah, and I think actually it's about big society because family means society, like because it's like a kinship, yeah, kinship and kingdom in this sense. Because uh, it's like to maybe it's like to have a lot of real friends, like in this sense, because actually, yeah, in the literal sense, we can think about a lot of having a lot of children, but actually, it's about kingdom too. I
Mm-hmm.
think I will make your seed like the dust of the earth means multiplying beyond the measure. In that, if anyone can count the dust of the earth, your seed too will be counted. Means a positive assertion. Assertion. It's like perception, yeah. Assertion.
Assertion.
No, assertion is like a statement, judgment, confirmation. Assertion. I will make your seed like the dust of the earth means multiplying beyond the measure, as can be seen without explanation. This verse says that his seed would be made like the dust of the earth. Other passages in the word say, like the sand of the sea, or like the stars of the heavens. Each has its own particular symbolism. The dust of the earth has to do with heavenly qualities because the earth symbolizes the heavenly aspect of love, as shown earlier. The sand of the sea has to do with spiritual qualities because the sea symbolizes the spiritual aspect of love as also shown, like the stars of the heaven symbolizes both in a higher degree. Because these items are incapable of being counted, it became customary to use them to express the idea of immeasurable reproducing and multiplying. The multiplying of the seed, the faith that comes of love, or love itself beyond the measure, symbolizes the Lord in the highest sense. Specifically, it symbolizes his human quality because the Lord's human quality is called the seed of a woman, as discussed in. And since the Lord's human quality is meant, multiplication beyond the measure means in infinite heavenliness, and spirituality. On the other hand, when seed symbolizes the faith that comes of charity or charity itself in the human race, the meaning is that the seed in each individual who lives a life of charity would multiply beyond measure. And this actually happens in the other world to everyone who lives a life of neighborly love. Charity and the faith that results from charity along with happiness increase so abundantly in such people that it can be depicted only by something immeasurable and inexpressible. When seed symbolizes the human race itself, its multiplication in the Lord's kingdom is again beyond measure and comes not only from people inside the church and their children, but also from people outside the church and their children. As a result, the Lord's kingdom or heaven is immeasurable, as will be discussed elsewhere, the Lord in His divine mercy willing. Mhm. Genesis 13:17. It's yours.
Okay. Genesis 13:17. Get up, walk through the land along its length and along its breadth. Oh, breadth, breadth, breadth,
Breath.
breadth, as in
I think
breath,
it's breath.
Breadth.
Breath.
breath, breath,
Breadth.
breath.
Do you know which is breath? It's like
Width.
width. Breadth and width.
Okay, good.
Let's see picture. Breadth.
Breath.
It's like length and breadth. Length. I think the picture will be like length and breadth. Yeah. Do you see? This is length, width.
Oh,
Now
like
it's
like sizes or no sizes.
yeah, this picture length. It's like
Oh, it's like
height.
it's like the base or no.
uh, breadth. Maybe we can see better picture.
Breath.
Yeah. Do you see? It's the breadth of the door.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay,
Breadth.
okay. The bead.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Breadth. Maybe this is breadth. Length. Mm-hmm.
Other term for bead
Length.
like that.
Mm. Okay. Height, breadth, and length.
Okay.
It's about measuring. Alone
Okay.
the land alone its length and alone its breadth.
Okay. Along its breadth. Because to you I will give it. Get up, walk through the land means in order to see the whole kingdom of heaven along its length and along its breadth symbolizes its heavenly aspect and its spiritual aspect. Because to you I will give it means that it would be his. Get up, walk through the land means in order to see the whole kingdom of heaven, as can be seen from the symbolism of land as a kingdom of heaven, dealt with several times before. On the literal level, getting up and walking through the land is scouting it out to see what it is like. So on an inner level, where land, wait, what is scouting? Like scout.
Scouting.
Scouting.
Scout.
Searching for good stuff.
Mm.
Scouting.
It's like there are a lot of scouts in US, for example, yeah, in North America.
It's like
Scouts.
You have a football team, and there is scout, professional scout, that their job is to find young people to enter the job.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Scouting it up. Next page.
Mm-hmm.
In land of Canaan symbolizes God's kingdom in the heavens or heaven, and God's kingdom on earth or the church. It means having a thorough review, thorough, right?
Thorough.
Yeah.
Thorough view. That was thorough.
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 Thorough. Thorough.
Thorough.
Thorough.
Yandex Translate.
Maybe in
It's like
English.
thorough. Thorough. Like thorough. Yeah,
Thorough.
maybe in American pronunciation you can see thorough. I think it's like thorough too.
Thorough.
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 Mm-hmm.
Thorough.
Thorough. Like
Thorough.
Thorough.
thorough. British say thorough. Thorough. Thorough.
Thorough.
And actually, it's about careful. Mm-hmm. It's like carefully in detailed, like detailed view, thorough view.
Thorough view. Thorough. It also means perceiving. Along its length and along its breadth symbolizes the heavenly aspect, the spiritual aspect, or to put it another way, what is good and what is true. For the symbolism of length as something good and for breadth something true. See breadth, breadth as something true. See the remarks above. Section 650. The reason for the meaning is that land symbolizes the kingdom of heaven or the church, neither or which can be said to have length or breadth. They have only the equivalents of length and breadth, or in other words, something that corresponds to this, namely goodness and truth. The heavenly aspect or goodness is primary, so it.
You say this word like breath, like to breathe, like breathing. That it's breath. Bread.
Yeah, bread.
Breadth.
No, bread. Bread.
Bread.
Bread. Listen.
Bread.
Breadth.
Bread.
Mm-hmm. Bread.
Sorry, what does breath means?
It's like what width and breadth.
Yes, this word.
See the picture because it's about it can be understandable only from picture. They see it's breadth and length. You see the picture. It's breadth.
Okay. Thank you.
Breadth.
It's about
Breadth.
land.
Bread.
About land. Breadth. The heavenly aspect. Have you read this page? Yeah, the heavenly aspect of goodness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it is compared to length. Be the spiritual aspect or truth is secondary, so it is compared to breadth. The fact that breadth is truth stand out fairly clearly in the prophetic portion of the word. In is it Habakkuk?
Mm-hmm.
In Habakkuk. In Habakkuk, for instance, I am raising up the Chaldeans or Chaldeans.
Chaldeans, maybe Chaldeans, maybe.
Chaldeans.
I think
I think we mentioned, yeah.
But
Chaldeans.
transcription like Chaldeans. Chaldeans, maybe, yeah, Chaldeans. Let's read like
Chaldeans.
we can see.
Chaldeans, a nation, a bitter or swift, walking through the breadth, breadth of the land.
Mm.
The Chaldeans stand for people whose thinking is distorted. Walking through the breadth of the land stands for destroying truth, since it is the Chaldeans who are said to do it in David. Jehovah, you did not shut me up in the hand of any in the hand of my enemy. You made my field stand in a broad place. Standing in a broad place means standing on the truth. In the same order, in tight bound anguish have I called on Jah. He answered me with broad liberality. Is it liberal or liberality?
Maybe liberality.
Like from the word liberal, right?
Liberality.
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 Like liberality, like
Generosity.
tolerance. Liberalism.
Liberalism.
Liberalism. Liberal. It's like from, I think it's like from liberty, yeah, like
Yeah.
liberty, like freedom.
Liberality. Answering with broad.
Let's see the picture. What is liberality? Maybe liberality. It's interesting. What's the picture? You can see liberality, like like money, yeah. The blessing of liberality. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, maybe definition meaning of liberality. Actually, it's interesting. What is this? I don't know. Maybe. What are the words for liberality? Generosity.
Generosity.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe like liberality. You see, it's like
Like
giving
kindness?
money. Yeah, like charity. Do you see this? He gives money to those who is lame, who is sick. It's like charity, I think. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, with broad liberality, answering. Yeah, like. Yeah, like
Generosity.
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 Generosity, liberality. Okay. Answering with broad liberality.
Stands for answering truly. In Hosea, Jehovah will pasture them like a lamb in a broad place. Pasturing an animal in a broad place stands for teaching truth. In Isaiah, Assyria will go through Judah. He will flood in and pass over. He will reach all the way to their neck, and the spread of his wings will be the fullness of land's breadth. Breadth. Isaiah stands for sophistry, sophistry that will flood
It's
the
like
land.
philosophical teaching, maybe. Yeah,
Sophistry.
sophistry. I don't know what it is.
Sophistry.
Mhm.
Isaiah stands for sophistry that will flood the land, or in other words, the church. His wing stands for arguments that lead to falsity. The full
Excuse
bread.
me. What are we reading right now? Is it a history or politic
I,
article or what kind of
uh,
article?
this is Secrets of Heaven book by Emmanuel Swedenborg. It's about spiritual meaning of the book of Genesis of the Bible. He describes spiritual meaning.
Oh,
He
okay.
doesn't write about literal meaning of book of Genesis, but it's about inner meaning, like spiritual meaning.
Okay.
By using method of correspondences. Actually, because it's like every earthly things correspond to heavenly things, like this. Okay, if someone wants to read, you can read next verse. Go ahead, go on. Where,
I think
where did you
I
stop?
read
Next page.
this.
Next
Yes,
page,
or
yeah.
of
Mm-hmm.
ideas. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that oppose truth. Since the length of the land symbolizes goodness and its breadth symbolizes symbolize truth, the New Jerusalem is described as having been measured and lying square, its length being as great as its width. From this, anyone can see width,
As with. Mm-hmm.
width, right? Width.
Mm-hmm.
From this,
With.
anyone can
Yes,
see.
we can say that width and breadth like the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
Width.
it was.
yeah, width and breadth.
Breadth.
Yeah, maybe we can have any differences between them, but I don't sure. But width and breadth, okay.
Yes. Where am I? Where am I? Yes.
Uh, Here with.
Yeah, width. From anyone can see that sole meaning of length and width is goodness and truth, since the New Jerusalem is purely and simply the Lord's kingdom in the heavens and on earth. Once upon a time, the inner level symbolism of things made it common for people to speak or of heavenly and spiritual qualities in terms of phenomena found on earth, such as length and breadth, height and
Breadth,
depth, breadth,
breadth.
length and breadth, height and depth, likewise form a part of modern everyday language when the subject is wisdom. The meaning of because
You see, we should memorize in pairs because it's better to memorize in pairs. You see, like
Mhm.
length and breadth,
And breadth, yeah.
and next pair like height
Height
and
and
depth.
depth. Okay.
Hmm. Depth, height and depth,
Depth.
depth, height,
Depth.
height and depth, and length and breadth. Hmm.
Mhm.
It's like it's like 3D, 3D, like
Mhm.
height, depth. It's like dimension. Yeah, we have height and depth and length and breadth. It's like 3D dimension. Mhm. The meaning of because.
Because to you I will give it as the fact that it would be his can be seen without explanation. Certain points that have been demonstrated many times show the kingdom of heaven, is the Lord's alone. Specifically, that no one else is the Lord of heaven, rather. And since he is the Lord of heaven, he is also the Lord of the church. It can also be seen from the fact that everything heavenly is spiritual, everything good or true comes from the Lord alone, with the result that the Lord is the all in all of his heaven, so much so that anyone who fails to see goodness and truth as coming from the Lord ceases to be in heaven. Such is the prevailing atmosphere throughout heaven. Such is the soul of heaven as well. And such is the life force that flows into everyone who cultivates goodness.
Mhm. Thank you. Who is next? Genesis 13:18. And Abram pitched his tent, and he came and lived in the oak grove of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and there he built an altar to Jehovah. Hebron or Hebron?
Hebron.
Hebron. Mhm. Abram pitched his tent, and he came and lived in the oak grove in Mamre, which is in Hebron. Hebron means that the Lord arrived at a still deeper perceptive ability. This is his sixth phase. And there he built an altar to Jehovah, symbolizes worship in that phase. Abram pitched his tent, and he came and lived in the oak grove of Mamre, which is in Hebron, means that the Lord achieved a still deeper perceptive ability, as can be seen from the symbolism of pitching a tent, in the sense of setting a tent up in a series of locations as uniting. A tent means the holiness of worship as shown before in, and this is what unites the outer self to the inner. The meaning can also be seen from the symbolism of an oak grove as perception, as discussed above. Those sections dealt with the oak grove of More, 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 which is the dawn of perception. The present verse, though, speaks of the oak groves of Mamre in the plural, and they symbolize increasing perception, that is, deeper perception. This perception is referred to as the oak groves of Mamre, which is in Hebron. Mamre is mentioned elsewhere too, as, for example, in Genesis, Judges, and in other places. What they symbolize, and they will be seen in the relevant places by the Lord's divine mercy. To expand on the symbolism of the oak growth of Mamre, which is in Hebron, as a still deeper ability to perceive, the more the attributes of the outer self unite with the heavenly qualities of the inner self, the more perception grows and deepens, grows and deepens. What is deepens? Like deep?
Deepens.
Yeah, deepens. The verb like strengthen. It's like expand, intensify, enhance,
Enhance.
enhance, deepens, and deepens. Union with heavenly qualities yields perception. This is because the heavenly attributes of love for Jehovah contain the actual living energy of the inner self. To put the same thing another way, the heavenly attributes of love, or in other words, heavenly love itself, contain Jehovah's presence. His presence is not perceived in the outer self until union is achieved. All perception comes from union. The inner meaning here reveals how matters stood with the Lord, his outer self, his human nature united with his divine nature more and more, as the religious knowledge he possessed multiplied and reproduced itself. No individual, so far as he or she is human, can be united to Jehovah, that is, the Lord, except through religious knowledge, because it is this knowledge that makes a person human. Mhm. It's interesting to memorize, like that makes a person human. I thought because they see it's like, mm, what's the difference between a person and a human, like human? Because we can say this is this person and this human, but actually, what makes a person human? The knowledge. The knowledge makes a person human. It's interesting. Because, yeah, I mean, if a person if a person is without knowledge, we can say that that person can be like an idiot, like this, like an animal. But if any person has knowledge, it means he is a human. Okay, I got it. This was true for the Lord too, because he was born like any other person and was taught the same way as any other person. Heavenly values, however, were constantly being infused. Were constantly being infused into the religious concepts he had learned, which acted as receiving vessels. These concepts then were constantly being made into vessels for receiving heavenly qualities and were themselves made heavenly as well. So the Lord made continuous progress toward the heavenly condition of earthly childhood. As I have said before, the heavenly aspects of love are instilled in us from infancy up until adolescence, even into early adulthood, depending on the kind of person we are. During that time and later, we are trained in knowledge, both secular and religious. If we are the kind of people who can be reborn, heavenly dimensions, aspects of love and charity fill out both kinds of knowledge. In this way, the knowledge is grafted onto the heavenly gifts that we have received from infancy up till adolescence and early adulthood. In the process, our outward self unites with our inward self. First, the knowledge is grafted into the heavenly gifts we received as young adults. Next, onto those we received throughout adolescence, and finally into those we received in early childhood. Then we became little children. Then we become little children, of whom the Lord said, "To such belongs the kingdom of God." The Lord alone does the grafting, so nothing heavenly exists or can exist in us that does not come from the grafting. What is this grafting? I forgot.
Grafting.
Grafting. It's like vaccinate.
Vaccinate.
Vaccinate. Like vaccine.
Vaccinate.
Vaccinate. Grafting. Does not come from the Lord and belong to the Lord. The Lord, however, did all this by his own power, united his outer self to his inner, filled his knowledge with heavenly dimensions, and grafted this knowledge onto his heavenly gifts. Moreover, he did so according to the divine plan. First, he grafted the knowledge onto the heavenly gifts received in adolescence, then onto those received at the age between childhood and adolescence, and finally onto those he received in his childhood. By this means he caused his human nature as well to become innocence itself and love itself, the source of all innocence and all love in the heavens and on earth. This kind of innocence is true childhood because it is also wisdom. A child's innocence is useless, though, unless religious knowledge turns it into the innocence of wisdom. So, children in their life are trained in such knowledge. Because the Lord grafted this knowledge onto his heavenly gifts, he had perception. Since all perception comes from union, as noted, perception dawned in him when he grafted on the facts he had learned in youth, and this dawn of perception is symbolized by the oak grove of Maria. Maria.
Me.
Okay, Maria. It involved, as described in the current verse, into a deeper kind when he grafted religious knowledge on, and this kind of perception on is symbolized. Mhm. Perception is symbolized by the oak groves of Mamre, which is in Hebron. The fact that this is his sixth phase can be seen from the contents of the last chapter. The symbolism of and there he built an altar to Jehovah's worship in that phase is established by the symbolism of an altar as that which represents all worship in general discussed earlier at section. In an inner sense, worship means all union achieved through love and charity. We worship constantly when we have love and charity outward. Worship is merely an effect. Angels worship in this way, so they have a perpetual Sabbath. As a result, the Sabbath at a deeper level also symbolizes the Lord's kingdom. While we are in the world, however, we really ought to worship outwardly as well. External worship stirs deeper dimensions. Stirs. What is this?
Stirs.
Stirs. It's like move. Stirs. Stirs. Mm-hmm. Stirs deeper dimension, and it maintains the holiness of our external acts so that deeper elements can influence us. What is more, we absorb knowledge during worship and undergo a preparation for accepting heavenly qualities. We also receive unconsciously the gift of holy states that the Lord preserves for our use in eternal life. Every state of our life returns in the other world. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's like next story. It's not the verse, but it is like a story. The light in which angels live continue their magnificent gardens and their dwellings. Okay, who wants to read? Maybe.
Okay, I read.
Go ahead.
When we gain access to inward sight, the sight of our spirit, we see the objects of the other world, which could never be presented to the sight of our physical eyes. This is exactly what the visions of the prophets were. In heaven, as noted, there are constant symbolic representations of the Lord and his kingdom. In fact, every single thing in the angels see represents and symbolizes something. This is the sources of representation of symbolism in the word, because the word comes by the way of heaven from the Lord. There are more objects to be seen in the world of spirits and heaven than can be listed. As the present subject is light, let me tell about the things that arise directly out of the light, such as atmospheres, parks, rainbows, palaces, and houses. With their outward eyes, spirits and angels see these items as being so radiant and alive, so perceptible to all their senses, that they declare them to be real and the objects of the world to be unreal by comparison. I start with the atmospheres that the blessed live in, which are made of light, because they rise out of the light there. The number of different kinds cannot be counted. and they are so beautiful and pleasant that they cannot be described. There are diamond-like atmospheres that flash in all their most uh minus
Minuscule, maybe minuscule.
minuscule
Minuscule.
Minuscule.
minuscule
Minuscule.
minuscule
Minuscule.
Minuscule is like is like
small
small,
small
small
minuscule
microscopic, minuscule. Yeah, they're most minuscule elements, like small elements, like microscopic. Microcosm and macrocosm. It's like microcosm,
Mhm.
minuscule elements.
minuscule elements as if they were made of diamond pellets. Is it pellets?
Yeah, well, what
Pellets.
is this? Pellets.
Pellets.
Pellets. Pellets. Pellets is like balls, little balls, like pills. Mm-hmm.
Like bullet
Pellets.
in a pellet gun. Like
Mm,
diamond
pellets.
pellets. Maybe we can.
Diamond, brilliant. Yeah, do you see? It's pellets. One second, it's not. Actually, if you will see diamond, mm, diamond pellets.
Mhm.
Actually, yeah, actually, it's a diamond pellets. Yeah, it's like, but actually, I think it's like, it's for instrument. But diamond is not like pellets, but actually it's like brilliance maybe. If you will see diamond, you see diamond, oh, you see it's diamond. It's
Mhm.
like diamond pellets. It's like a lot of diamonds like this in heaven, like atmosphere from diamonds. It's amazing. 1 second, sorry. Diamond pellets. Okay, it's like a lot of diamonds.
As if they were made of diamond pellets. There are
Mm.
atmospheres that resemble the gleam of all kinds of gems. There are atmospheres seemingly made of translucent pearls, pearls glowing from within, streaking the air with the most brilliant colors. There are atmospheres afire with gold, a, f- a fire like a fire, like
No. Fire, like fire. Okay, let's see. Yeah,
on
like,
fire. Okay,
but
a fire.
yeah, it's like on fire. But what it means like of atmosphere of fire with gold? I
Yeah.
think it's not. It's not. Mm, hmm Yeah, it's like a lot of gold colors like this
Hmm.
atmosphere of fire with gold.
It seems, or with silver, or with diamond like gold and silver. There are atmospheres composed of multicolored flowers, so small they cannot be seen.
Multicolored, yeah, multicolored,
Mul- mul- okay,
multicolored.
like
Multicolored.
Okay,
Multicolored.
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 Mm-hmm.
Multicolored flowers so small they cannot be seen. Countless variations on this type of atmosphere fill the heaven where small children live. In fact, one even sees atmospheres composed of what seem to be children at play, again at a size that is too small to see but can be perceived, although only by the deepest power of thought. This gives young children the idea that everything around them is alive and is part of the Lord's stream of life. A thought that gladdens them to the core. What's gladdens? Like glad from the word glad?
Mm-hmm. I think. Yeah.
Gladdens.
Yeah, it's like rejoice, please, glad, gladdens.
Okay.
It's a verb, but that glads, yeah, you can say I'm very glad, but if you say gladdens, gladdens,
Oh,
it's like the same thing, yeah. That we can say that glads them to the core, and we can say that gladdens them to the core. Gladdens.
to the core. There are many other kinds of atmosphere besides, because the variations are beyond number and also beyond description. To, to turn now to the magnificent gardens. They are breathtaking huge parks containing every kind of tree, calm,
What is breathtaking? They are breathtaking.
breathtaking, like a breathtaking scene.
Mm.
Breathtaking.
Stunning, yeah. It can be say
Amazing.
amazing, fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Breathtaking. Like you cannot breathe if you see any amazing things. You're amazed and you cannot breathe. Like you're shocked. And
Amazing.
maybe we can see a picture to better
Breathtaking.
memorize this word.
It's like a
Breathtaking.
breathtaking scene. Like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, magnificent,
Mhm.
fantastic.
Yeah. For example, yeah, it's like with breathtaking view.
Yes. Like a one of a
Amazing.
kind uh place like that.
hmm hmm And this is like breathtaking. Wow.
It was amazing.
hmm They are breathtaking. Huge parks containing
Would
every kind of tree. Calm.
come into view. So beautiful and so charming that they defy all power of imagination. They are presented to the inhabitants or outward side in such a living way that not only are they seen, they are also perceived in all their detail much more vividly than anything our physical eyesight discerns on earth. To remove any doubts I might have on the subject, I was taken there. The place is in front at an angle slightly
Angel.
above.
Angle.
It's angle. It's
Ah.
like angle or
Angle.
angle.
No, no.
It's angle or angle. I'm not hard.
Angle.
Angle, yeah.
Angle.
Angle. It's an angle slightly or angle. Like corner. Side.
Point of view, right side, yeah.
hmm Slightly above the right eye.
Oh, the right eye. where people who live the life of paradise are located. And I saw absolutely everything appears in its loveliest springtime and its loveliest bloom with stunning magnificence and variety. Every single object is alive with representation. Since nothing exists there that wait there that does not represent or symbolize something heavenly or spiritual. So the sights not only please the eyes but also cheer the mind. Yeah, absolutely. Some souls
Hmm.
newly some souls new arrive from the world once expressed doubt because of principles they had adopted while still alive. That similar things could exist in the other world, where there is neither wood nor stone. They were taken up to that place and spoke to me from there. Stup- stupefied, right? Stupefied.
Hmm.
They said
It's
that
it's
it
about
was
it's about it's about stupid. What is stupefied?
stu- stupefied.
Yeah,
Stupefied.
it's like it's not like it's from stupid, but in the sense like besotted. It's like it's like maybe
Besotted.
Hmm.
like drunken.
Drunken.
Intoxicated.
Drunken. Mhm. For example, if you see any breathtaking view, you can be like
You
stupefied.
you look like a stupefied person.
Yeah. If you see, for example, if you see a lot of brilliance in your house, like diamonds, you 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 are you can be stupefied because of that
Hmm.
view. Yeah.
Okay. Arrived from the world once expressed doubt because of the principles they had that was still alive. That is similar things. I think I read this. Wait.
Hmm.
No, I think I didn't finish. Yeah,
Stupefied.
stupefied.
Hmm.
They said that it as indescribable and that they could never find a mental picture of represent its indescribability. Exhilarity, exhilaration, hilaration,
Exhilaration and
exhilaration,
happiness. Maybe it's like happiness, yeah, because because they see it's about pairs,
exhilaration,
exhilaration and happiness, like. Hmm.
excitement,
Exhilaration.
Exhilaration,
exhil,
Exhilaration.
exhilaration,
exhilaration. You said like exhilaration, yeah, but exhilaration.
Exhilaration.
Hmm.
exhilaration. Okay,
It's like joy and
joy,
excitement.
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 Yeah,
Hmm.
it's emotion.
Joyful mood.
Exhilaration, exhilaration, and happiness shown out from every particle. They said with unending variety. For the most part, souls being introduced to heaven are taken first of all to the paradisal gardens. Angels look at such things with every different eyes. However, it is not the actual gardens that delight an angel, but the things they represent, and so the heavenly and spiritual realities behind them. The earliest church had its paradisal gardens from this source. Paradise. As for rainbows, there is a kind of iridescent heaven in which the whole
What is
atmosphere
what,
seems
what is this?
iridescent.
Iridescent. Iridescent.
Iridescent, but I don't understand the pronunciation of
I think
hers.
Iridescent.
Iridescent.
Hmm.
Iridescent.
Iridescent.
Okay, iridescent.
Iridescent. And iridescent is like
Bright.
it's about rainbow. Iridescent. It's about rainbow colors. Because if you see heaven in rainbows, it's like
Mhm.
you can say that heaven is iridescent. It's
Iridescent.
like a lot of colors, maybe. Yeah. Iridescent. Yeah, do you see it's iridescent, like rainbow,
Yeah,
iridescent. Like do you see it's we can say this heaven is iridescent.
very colorful for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Oh, it's iridescent hair, like hairstyle.
Hair color.
It's like maybe it's expensive hairstyle, yeah,
Yeah.
to do this. Wow, yeah, it's like iridescent too. Wow, and this is iridescent too. Okay, copy that.
As for rainbows, there is kind of iridescent heaven in which the whole atmosphere seems to be made of tiny rainbows, one after another. The people who live there belong to the region of the inner eye and are stationed off to the right, out in front of out in front and a little bit up above. The entire atmosphere there, all the air, consists of this glimpse of light and therefore radiates out by
Ra- ra-
heaven
Radiates out of each
individual. It's a beacon, so to speak. Beacon.
beacon, maybe beacon.
Like bacon.
Ah,
Beacon.
beacon.
Beacon. Yeah, yeah.
Beacon.
Beacon like lighthouse.
Oh,
Signal
okay.
fire. Hmm.
Signal
Beacon.
fire.
Beacon.
Beacon.
Hmm.
Signal fire.
Signal fire. Beacon.
Lighthouse or signal fire?
Beacon. Hmm. It's like on shore, on seashore. Mm. Yeah. I mean,
Lighthouse, yeah.
we can see beacons on seashore. It's like it gives light for the ships, for ships
Yeah.
in the sea. I think I'm right. Let's see the picture. Yeah, it's a beacon. Yeah, let's see.
Yes.
Mhm.
Giving light
Be-
to
mhm.
the
Beacon of
ships.
light. Hmm. Prison ministry. Okay. Individual beacon, so to speak.
Uh, a much a much larger rainbow compounded of similar smaller ones that are exquisite miniatures of the big one forms a gorgeous belt around the outside. Each color then consists of many, many rays, so that millions of rays make up a single, all in all in exclusive rainbow visible to the eye. The rainbow is a modification of the points of light, a modification produced by the heavenly and spiritual forces that create the rainbow and in the process present before the observer's eyes a picture full of representative meaning. There is no limit to the different types of varieties of rainbows, several of which I was privileged to see, to grasp in some measure the kind of variation they display, and to see how very many rays of light go into a single visible one. Let me describe just one or two. Once a large scale rainbow appeared before me so that I could learn from it what rainbows are like at the smallest scale. There was a brilliant white light with a kind of belt about it. At the core of the belt was something dim and earth-like, surrounded by a bright radiance. The radiance was dipoled and
How,
broke. The,
how
the
do you say this word?
radiance,
Radiance. Radiance, maybe.
Radiance.
Radiance.
radiance,
Radiance.
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 It's like shine, splendor.
Radiance.
Radiance. Radiance. The radiance. Radiance. The radiance was doublet. What is doublet?
It's double,
Dappled.
Doubled.
double.
Doubled. It's like doubled. It's like color. Doubled. Maybe it's like dogs. Double dogs. We can see. Doubled. Cats and dogs. Yeah, it's like horse. Doubled horse. Yeah, it's doubled. What is a double gray horse? Okay, double. Yeah, it's this horse. This horse is doubled too. Doubled. It's amazing. The radiance was doubled.
And broken up by another kind of light containing golden, star-like sparkles. Other changes occurred when flowers of different colors entered into the bright radiance. Colors produced not by
Radiance.
white
Radiance.
ra-
Radiance.
radiance,
Radiance.
radiance. Colors produced not by white light, but by a fiery. Is it fiery?
Fiery. Fiery.
Yeah, fiery kind of light. All of it represented heavenly and spiritual qualities. In the other world, all visible colors represent something heavenly or spiritual. Colors that partake of fire represent aspect of love and of a desire for what is good. Colors that partake of white light represent aspects of faith and of a desire for truth. All colors in the next life come from these sources and therefore gleam so brilliant, 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 okay, brilliant, brilliant,
Brilliantly.
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 Brilliantly, like shining. Yeah, shining like
Yeah,
brilliants and
like
diamonds.
brightly. Mhm.
Brilliantly.
Brilliantly.
Brilliantly. That that colors in this world cannot be compared to them. There are also colors that have never been seen in the world. A rainbow shape with something grass-like and green as its center also appeared, and I sensed a kind of sun off to the side, out of sight, gleaming and giving off a light so bright that it cannot be described. At the edges were the most beautiful variations of color possible in a lum uh lu luminescent
Luminescent.
luminescent
Luminescent.
luminescent
Luminescent.
Luminescent.
luminescent
Luminescent.
luminescent
Luminescent.
Luminescent.
hmm
luminescent
Yeah, can I
Luminous.
read?
There is 10 different accents and
So
10 different sounds, right?
Excuse
That's
me, can I read?
In a luminous.
Okay, it's my turn. The out of sight, gleaming. What's the meaning of gleaming?
gleaming.
Yeah, it's in the first line.
gleaming,
Yeah, what does it mean?
gleaming like
Yeah,
shining. I think
Gleaming.
sparkling, shining.
shining. Okay, this is a new word. Okay, let me carry on. And giving off a light so bright that cannot be described. At the edges. What's the meaning of edges?
I just like ants, ants.
Edges.
Edges.
I just like hmm, maybe maybe from picture we can see edges
Like
like
side.
folders. Edges. No, I think I don't
Yeah,
know.
she says side. Yeah, exactly. Let me carry on. Let me carry on, please.
Mhm.
Okay, what? No, no. Okay. Edges were the most beautiful variations. What's the meaning of variations?
Variations. It's like
Variations.
variations. It's meaning. It's like different. A lot of different things.
Yes, what's
Okay,
up?
yeah, you're right. Variation, like various, like
Variations.
various, right?
Change.
Hey, what's up,
Yeah,
guys?
various.
How are we?
Okay, let me carry on. Let me carry on.
What's up?
Variation, beautiful
How,
variation of color possible.
how are you guys?
In
Hello.
okay, can you pronounce this word? It's fucking difficult. In a lemon,
Vari-
in a
it,
luminous,
luminescent. No, luminescent.
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 Okay,
Luminescent.
Ah,
Luminescent.
luminescent. Luminescent.
Luminescent.
Luminescent.
Luminescent. Yay, I know that. Fuck yeah.
what's wrong?
Luminescent like pearly color. Yeah, pearly color. Pearly like luminescent. You can say. Yeah, field. Luminescent pearly field. What is field?
Yeah, apparently. Okay, let me
Ah,
carry on. Let me carry
Field.
on.
it's like
It's fine.
area.
Feel it's like an area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, field of study, field of trip. All right. These and these and other experiences showed me what a rainbow is like in its smallest component. In its smallest component, they also showed me that there is no end to the number of variations, variations which depend on neighbor, on neighborly, on neighborly love and the resulting faith in an in an individual who sees them represented that individual in turn looks like a rainbow to others when present to their view in all her or his beauty and glory. Yeah, in his beauty and glory. Okay, what's wrong with my tongue? Oh my god. Okay, in addition to these wonders of paradise, one also sees cities full of splendid. He's talking about paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonders of paradise, one also sees cities full of splendid mansions. Mansions. Okay, what's the meaning of mansions?
Mansions like villa, big
Oh,
cottage,
yeah, I
mm,
see. Yeah.
Mansions.
big house like
Mansion.
palace. Hmm.
Okay, let me carry on. Sorry.
Maybe we can see picture
No, no, no,
mentions.
no. We don't wanna. We don't wanna waste the time.
Mentions. It's better to memorize from
It's
picture.
like villa,
Hmm
villas.
Yeah, like yeah. Do you see? It's mentions.
Yeah. Okay. Mansions. Okay. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Mansions. One after another. One after another. Gleaming with color beyond the skill of any architect to create no. Let me see this word. To create no.
Create.
To create
Creation.
not.
Create.
Hold on.
Not
Create. Surprisingly. Surprisingly. Okay. Cities like them appeared to the prophets as well when their inner eyes. What inner eyes?
inner eyes.
Yeah.
It's like inner eyes. Like you have physical eyes and inner eyes. It's like eyes of your mind. Your mind has spiritual eyes to see spiritual things. Like
Okay.
mhm.
So when their inner
maybe
eyes.
like intuition. Maybe it's like intuition, like inner vision.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So reopen, and these cities were as plain to see as any that could exist in the world. Okay, and these cities were as plain to see as any that could exist in the world. Exist in the world. The new Jerusalem appeared. Jerusalem, the new Jerusalem, Salem. Okay, the new Jerusalem appeared to John for instance, and he described it in these words. He took me. Bruh, hold on, give me a second. My lawyer calling me.
Sorry, what's going on? Go on.
Someone's calling on him.
Ah, okay.
Do you
Go on.
want me to continue or shall I continue?
Yeah.
Where did he stop? These
He,
CDs
he
were as plain.
he took me
As,
away.
okay. He took me away in spirit onto a mountain peak and high and showed me the great city, Jerusalem, the holy, having a wall big and high, having 12 gates. The structure of the wall was jasper, and the city was pure gold, like golden glass. The foundations of the wall were adorned with very precious stone. The first foundation was jasper, and the second sapphire. The third was what is it? Chalcedony or
Chalcedony.
Cal
Chalced
Sydney. Cal Sydney.
Chalcedony.
Chalcedony.
Cal
Cal
Sydney. Cal Sydney. It's a like precious stone. Yeah, Cal Sydney.
Chalcedony.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
like Cal Sydney stone. Like yeah.
Chalcedony.
Wow. hmm Okay. Cal Sydney. The fourth emerald. What
The
is
fourth
emerald?
emerald.
Let's see.
It's a stone. Same.
Emerald.
It's
Emerald
like
color.
green. Yeah, green.
Yeah. Chalced
Emerald. Yeah,
stone.
it's emerald. hmm And how looks Jasper? Jasper. Let's see. Jasper.
Yeah. I'm curious. I thought Jasper is just a name, but it's a word itself.
Do you see? It is
Oh,
Jasper.
it's also a stone.
It's jasper. Stone. Yeah, it's precious stones, like jasper. I think it's like expensive too. And jasper and sapphire. What is sapphire? Stone.
It's
Precious
also
stone.
a stone. Yeah, like a red. I think sapphire is red, like
Red?
a red
Okay,
color.
let's see.
No, blue. Is it blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, blue. Okay.
This sapphire, Cal-
Chal
Chalcedony. Ah,
Charles Chal
Chalcedony.
Chalcedon.
Ah,
Chalcedony.
Chalcedony.
Chalcedony. Chalcedony, the
Chalcedony.
emerald. hmm
The fifth.
The fifth,
Sardonyx.
sardonyx. What's the color? So guess the color.
Purple.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, it's like
Wow.
brown. It's like a seashell.
Okay,
Shiny
it's like.
brown. It's a brown color. Chelsea.
It's,
Oh, the sixth.
this.
Sard.
What is this sard?
Sard.
Sard. What's the color?
No idea.
You must guess.
Like white or silver?
Right.
Sard.
Okay. Let's see. Sard. I think it's like maybe green.
Let's see.
Mm.
Oh. It's like it's also a brown one, like light light color brown.
Sard. Ah, this is Sard and Onyx. Onyx on the right and Sard on the left. Onyx. Sard.
Is it 7? Chrysolite or chrysolite? Chrysolite or chrysolite?
Chrysolite.
Oh, chrysolite.
Maybe blue.
Yellow.
Mm.
Oh, green. Yeah. A yellow green one.
Chrysolite is like maybe.
Chrysolite.
Maybe it's. I think it's expensive too. Because
I think
it's
everything
precious
is expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the 8 is beryl. Oh,
beryl. What is this? Beryl.
Beryl.
Let's see, beryl. Like
red. No. What was it? A blue green color.
Beryl. And the ninth topaz.
Topaz.
Okay, this is topaz.
Orange? Is it or
Yeah,
yellow?
Like this. Topaz. And the 10th, how to pronounce? My version is like chrysoprase. Chrysoprase. Chrysoprase.
Chrysoprase.
Chrysoprase.
And chrysoprase. It's like
light blue green.
Chrysoprase.
Chrysoprase.
And 11th. Hyacinth. Yeah?
Hyacinth.
Hyacinth. Let's see.
Hyacinth.
Hyacinth. Because it's about New Jerusalem. I think we should memorize these stones because and it's like a hyacinth, but it's like a flower. I don't
Pearl.
know what is it. Okay. It's like if you will type stone, stone. Maybe it's stone, yeah, in the flower.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
hmm Yeah. And hyacinth stone. Yeah.
It's
This
different
is
color.
mm-hmm, hyacinth.
Mm-hmm.
And flower has the same name
Mm-hmm.
and stone. And 12th amethyst.
Amethyst.
Yeah, amethyst.
Amethyst.
Amethyst. Like yeah,
Amethyst.
amethyst. What is this? Amethyst. hmm Okay, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Amethyst. Okay, 12 precious stones. Okay, go on.
The prophets also describe the New Jerusalem. Sites like this in countless numbers appear to angels and angelic spirits in broad daylight. And surprising to say, the angels and spirits perceive them with all their senses. This will never be believed by anyone who has blotted out all spiritual thinking by means of the terms and definitions used in human philosophy and by argumentation. Yet it is absolutely true. The fact that the saints saw them so many times could have convinced such people that is true. In addition to cities and mansions, I was sometimes able to see dec- decorative elements, such as those that appear on stairways and main doors. These elements move as if they were alive and change with ever fresh beauty and symmetry. I learned that such changes can keep going indefinitely. Symmetry.
Symmetry.
Symmetry. Harmony like this.
I learned that such changes can keep going indefinitely, one after another, even to eternity, and there is a constantly renewed harmony among the variations formed by the very sequence of changes itself. These were only the least of their wonders, I heard. All angels have their own houses to live in, magnificent houses. While there, I saw them several times with astonishment. What is it? What astonishment?
Astonishment. Maybe like amazing.
Astonishment.
Surprise,
Yeah,
I guess.
amazement. Surprise. Bewilderment. Bewilderment.
Bewilderment.
Bewilderment. Astonishment. Astonishment. And spoke with
Uh,
the angels in them.
Astonishment and spoke with the angels in them. They are they are so clear to see, so visible that nothing could be more so. Houses on earth are almost nothing by comparison. Angels also call earthly dwellings lifeless and unreal, but their own dwellings alive and genuine, because they come from the Lord. The architecture is such that it is the source of the art itself, with unending variety. They said that if they were given all the palaces in the whole inhabited world, they would not exchange their own for them. Anything made of stone, brick, or plank seems dead to them, but anything from the Lord or from the life of or from life and light itself is alive. Such materials are all the more alive because angels experience them with the full range of senses. Since objects there are perfectly suited to the senses of spirits and angels, objects in the light of the sun's realm are not the least bit visible to spirits' eyes. To the senses we have in our bodies, though stone and wood are well suited. What is spiritual responds to what is spiritual, and what is physical respond to what is physical. The houses of good spirits and angelic spirits usually have porticos. Porticos. What is it?
Porticos. It's about architecture.
Porticos.
Porticos. Maybe we can see picture. Mm, Porticos. Porticos. It's like it's about architecture, like porticos, like arcs. Yeah, you see porticos. It's like
A hall?
cell,
A hall.
like yeah, and like it's about architecture. Porticos. Yeah, maybe. Usually have porticos
Or
and
long.
like long entryways. Yeah, like
Yeah.
entryways, long entryway. Mm-hmm. Vaulted.
Vault.
What is this?
Vault.
Vo- vaulted. Ah,
Vaulted.
yeah, vaulted like porticos too. Vaulted. I think it's about architecture too. Vaulted. Yeah, this is like
Yeah.
vault.
Same. Same.
Mm-hmm. Like sailing, vaulted sailing like this, vaulted. I think. Yeah, like this sail, vaulted sail. Maybe it's more expensive to have this to build the sail maybe
Hmm.
because this is like
A high ceiling, maybe.
hmm yeah hmm vaulted and sometimes doubled.
Double. Where
Doubled
they
is like
bought.
doubled like dual. Yeah, dual. Yeah, double.
Doubled.
Dual and double.
Dual.
Doubled.
Where they walk. The walls of the walkways are formed in many different ways and are graced with flowers and garlands woven in an extraordinary manner, not to mention other kinds of decoration that change and replace one another. As noted, these details appear to them in brighter light at one time, in weaker light at another, but always offering profound pleasure. Their houses also turn more beautiful as the spirits grow in perfection. When the houses are undergoing change, something representing a window appears at the side and widens, and the inside grows darker. A pierce of starry sky appears, as does a kind of cloud. Those, no, thus, which is a sign that their houses are changing into even more enchanting ones. Spirits are quite disgusted by the poor opinion people have of the life that spirits and angels enjoy. They are upset to.
Okay,
What
my
is?
turn. My turn. Wideness, wideness.
Mhm. What is this?
Widens.
Widens. It's like expand,
Expand. Yeah.
enlarge, widens.
Okay, it's my turn,
Mm-hmm.
guys. Let me read,
Mm-hmm.
please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that we imagine them as exciting, exist, no, exciting,
Existing. Existing. I think
existing,
it's existing.
exiting, exiting,
Existing.
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 Like exist.
Okay, then, but it's written like different way. But anyway, them as existing in a dim, in a dim. What's the meaning of dim?
Dim.
Yes,
Dim
dim.
like that. It's like fog. No.
Dim.
Dim. Like weak. Weak light. Foggy light.
Dim.
It's like not clear
Oh, it
light.
means like weak. Okay. Obscure, 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 obscure. Hold on. What's the meaning of this word?
Obscure.
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 Unclear. Unclear.
Yeah, unclear. Okay.
Vague.
Mhm.
Dark.
Mhm. So existing in a dim, obscure state, which would
Mm-hmm.
have to be awfully grim, grime, grim. No, it's grim, and inhabiting a kind of vacuum.
Grim.
Grim.
Grim. Yeah.
Grim like gloomy. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And inhabiting a kind of vacuum. Vacuum. Bro, my vocabulary is okay. Vacuum. Okay, vacuum means cleaner or void.
It's like in space. Space has vacuum
Yeah,
because
yeah, exactly.
space has no atmosphere. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So, vacuum or void. The truth is that they have the greatest possible light. Possible light. Enjoy every benefit available to each of the senses, and feel it very deeply. There were also some souls. There were also some souls just come from the world who brought with them for from assume
Assum- assu- assumptions, maybe,
assumption.
or maybe I think it's assumptions.
Assumption.
Assumptions.
Assumptions. It's like
Assumption.
supposition, hypothesis, maybe hypothesis. Yeah, how to pronounce this word?
Yeah, hypothesis. Yeah, hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
Yeah, hypothesis.
Hypothesis.
Okay,
Hypothesis.
it's like a claim.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hypothesis or claim. So there were also some souls just come from the world who brought with them for assumptions. They had they had what?
Adopted.
Adopted their they had no, hold on. For assumptions they had adopted their, let me carry on. The idea that such vitality
Vitality. Mm-hmm.
or vitality
Vitality.
was not possible in the past.
Vitality is like it's like um, energy,
Energy. Okay. So it was not
life energy, life energy.
okay. Life energy. So it was not possible in the other world. As a result, they were taken into an angel into Angel
Holmes.
Holmes. What Jill Holmes? Where they talked with
Angel.
the
Angel.
angels. Okay,
Mhm.
where they talked with the angels, and so what was there? When they returned, they kept saying, "I can see it's true. Those things are real. I would never have believed this during life in the body. I never could have." They said that is no. They said that these have to be so me. That
Sam.
these have to
Sam.
be so
It's Sam. To
some.
be Sam. Mhm.
Okay, that have to be some of the most amazing things that exist. But no one believes in such things because no one
Uh,
carry on.
let, let's check vitality. It's like, yeah,
It's vitality.
it's
Vitality.
like energy, life force, life energy, we can say. Vitality.
Vitality.
Yeah, I'm correct.
Alright, assumptions, vitality.
hmm
This is the
hmm
two new words that I learned. Okay, now
hmm
go back one
hmm
page. Alright, so vitality. Okay, understands them just because they don't understand it, and this is something they are told they should not do. They should not do.
Doubt.
Doubt. Doubt.
Doubt.
Okay, doubt. They should not doubt it. Doubt it. Ah, okay, since it is a matter to be experienced by the senses, the inner senses at any rate. What's the meaning of inner? I have to translate this word.
Inner. It's like inside. What is inside? Inner senses, like senses inside
Oh,
your mind,
yeah,
within.
yeah, yeah. Like spiritual, mental, moral,
hmm
spiritual. Yeah.
hmm
Okay, spiritual. Yeah, not spiritual. Yeah, okay. So, since it was a matter to be experienced by the senses, the inner senses at any rate, after after all, if we believed only what we could grasp, what's the meaning of grasp?
Grasp.
Yeah,
It's
grasp.
like grasp. It's like
Grasp.
Hello.
mm. It's like understand in the sense, realize,
Okay,
see, catch, learn.
spiritual.
hmm
Spiritual. Okay,
Like
grasp.
comprehend. Comprehend.
Grasp. Like realization. Grasp. Um, we believed only what we got. What? We believe only what we could grasp. Okay, we would not believe in anything at the microscopic level of the physical world. Okay, what's the meaning of physical world?
Physical, like material world,
Oh,
material from
physical.
matter. hmm
Okay, physical. This is a new word. All right. So physical world, let alone anything having to do with internal life.
Because he means like we have
Internal.
and we live inside two worlds, like two parallel worlds, physical world and spiritual world. They're like two dimensions, two
Oh,
parallel worlds,
eternal life.
dimensions.
Okay,
hmm
dimensions. So that that is what produces the ins insanity.
Insanity,
Fuck, man. I feel so
insanity,
bad, man. My English is fucked.
Insanity.
Why?
insanity, like madness.
But why I cannot understand a single word? Like, come on. Fuck.
Insanity like madness.
Yeah, insanity. Some
Mhm.
people have been rich.
Okay. Mhm. And insanity of our era. Mhm.
Okay, some people have been rich during bodily bodily life and lived in stately man in stately
Mansions.
mansions. No, mansions. All right. Identifying their heaven with these advantages and cheating others out of their possession, possesses, possessions,
Possessions.
possessions, possessions. What possessions? Milk. It means
Possessions. It's like property. No, like possession. What
yeah,
you have,
property,
what you own.
property. Yeah,
Like
property.
if you have a car in
Or
your
yeah,
property
yeah,
car, like
yeah,
we can say this that car is your possession.
yeah, yeah. It's like it belongs to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's carry on. Advantages and cheating others out of their positions by various roses.
What is Razis?
Roses.
Razis?
No, it's roses, I think.
Ah,
Ruses.
ruses.
Roses.
Ruses.
It's like cheek deceit.
Roses.
It's about scammers like this. Scammers.
Roses like trick.
Ruses.
So,
Yeah,
okay,
cheeks. Mm-hmm.
tricks. So,
If
some,
mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah, it's
So,
like any scammer can cheat you and by various ruses to to get your possession like
yeah,
money. Mm.
possessions. All right, possessions. So, let's carry on. Um, all right, compassion. What? No. Um, by various ruses without
Con-
conscience.
conscience,
Conscience.
conscience, conscience
Yeah,
is like inner voice in your
conscience.
the voice of God in your heart, like inner voice.
Conscience.
Conscience.
Oh, yeah, conscience. Damir. It means damir in Arabic. All right, conscience. So, without compassion. What compassion?
Compassion. It's like if you see any
Compassion.
sick people and poor
Oh,
people
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
asking for money
Yeah,
or
yeah.
for helping, you can help
Okay.
him or her,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it
So,
means you have compassion to him.
yeah, compassion, like means feel
Pity.
sorry or feel sorry or
Mm-hmm.
you feel bad for them. You have mercy for them. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So compassion. No. Conscience. Without conscience, right?
Yeah, he who has conscience, he has compassion. Maybe we can say, yeah,
Okay.
conscience is like compassion.
Science. Okay. Science, conscience, and science. They have the same spelling, but you just have to add con. I'm talking about science and conscience, right? So then they come into the then no, when they come into the other life, they are first introduced into exactly the same kind of life they had lived in the world, as noted. B sometimes they are even allowed to this point to live in mansions, just as they had in the world just they had in the world. Okay, since at first everyone in the in the other in the other life is welcomed as as a guest and a newcomer in order to avoid exposing the inner the inner the inner depth and life goals of these people as yet. And angels show them every favor and kindness on behalf of the Lord, on behalf of the Lord. But what skin changes? The skin changes.
Seen. It's seen.
Oh, seen.
Mm-hmm.
Scene.
Seen like maybe
Stage. View.
landscape in this. It's like sight, and it's like landscape.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bro, it's fucking hard. It's really hard to read this. My, I don't know, my reading is completely bad.
Mm-hmm.
Why there is like,
Maybe.
listen. Why there are like different words that I've never heard about it.
I don't know. Actually, maybe I don't know. It's like any kind of lexicon here. Lexicon.
Lexicon. Oh, lexicons.
Because every book has its own lexicon, you can say, and every
Mm.
writer has its his uh, hers lexicon.
Oh,
His or
lexicon.
her lexicon.
Okay, what was the meaning of lexicon?
Lexicon is like
Lexicon.
your dictionary, your own dictionary.
Oh,
Lexicon.
lexicon. Okay, thank you. So dictionary
Hmm.
is like your own dictionary, lexicon. How
Yeah.
do you pronounce? How do you spell it? How do you spell it? Lexicon.
Lexicon.
Yes, sir.
Lex I
Lex.
I C.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like dictionary. Like dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Dictionary. Like dictionary. Like a dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so lexion. No, lexicon. Hold
Mm-hmm.
on. I forgot the word. Lexicon, right?
Mm-hmm. Lexicon.
Okay, lexicon. Yeah,
Lexicon is your words. For example, your words. It's your lexicon.
yeah.
Your
I
words
got
are
it.
your lexicon. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's carry on. They are even allowed at this point to live in mansions, just as they had in the world. Since at first everyone in the other life is welcomed as a guest and a newcomer. Okay, in order to avoid exposing.
You have read this because
Oh,
you stopped here. Mhm.
yeah.
Dimensions gradually
Okay,
fade.
the
Mhm.
mansions gradually fade. Gradually fade. What's the meaning of fade?
Fade, like disappeared.
Oh,
Fade.
you
It's
you
like
bro, your English is
no,
good.
yeah. Hmm.
Your English
It's
is
like
good.
wither. Hmm. Fade
How do you
away.
know all of these words? How do you know it?
Because I read books of Swedenborg maybe 4 months, 4 or 5 months, because I know his lexicon.
Oh, that's why. All right. So, um, the mansions gradually fade and turn into huts or hats,
Hats,
hats.
hats like it's like a house.
All right, which degenerate. What degenerate further and further? which degenerate further and further until they finally carry on. Next page. Until they finally disappear. What is disappear? What's
Disappear.
oh
Disappear.
disappear. All right. Then the owners wander around like beggars.
Be-
What
beggars.
beggars?
Beggars. Beggars like poor people.
Oh yeah, beggars or homeless, like homeless people, right?
Beggars.
All right, beggars. Let's carry on. Beggars.
Beggars.
Poor man.
Let's see. Beggars and ask to be taken in, but because they are what they are, society rejects them. Society rejects them. In the end, they come to resemble. No, resemble. What's the meaning of resemble?
Resemble.
Yes, resemble.
Resemble.
It's like remind, assimilate. Like it's like. Resemble is like. Mm,
Resemble.
mm.
But English people they don't use these terms. These terms. You just can find it in the books like this. In kind of books like this. All right. Experiment. How do you pronounce
Ex,
this?
ex, excrement. Excrement maybe. Excrement.
Excrement.
Excrement. It's like shit. Piece of shit. Excrement.
Experiment.
Oh.
Experiment. Oh,
Excrement.
excrement. Like shit.
For example, if you have a dog or cat, your cat can do excrements in your
Yeah.
house.
And a cloud smelling like
Yeah.
rotten teeth woofs from them, which angels I have discussed.
Maybe it's maybe someone. Okay, it's like 2 pages. Okay, you can finish this. Because you see, we can finish this chapter after
Okay,
2 pages. Okay.
which angels I have discussed. Representations. What does representations means?
Representations. It's like
Repetition.
no.
Representations.
It's like maybe presentation. You know what is presentation? Presentation. For example, I don't represent myself, but I represent this book and the author of this book. Because it's about topic. Yeah, we read this book and we can talk about this book. It means I don't represent myself, but I represent this book.
All right. So representation discussed. No, representations and the fact that nothing in the planet kingdom on earth fails to represent the Lord's kingdom in so maybe in some way.
Some way.
Okay, in some way. They have said that every pretty and attractive specimen
What is this specimen?
Specimen.
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 Specimen is like it's like it's like sample.
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 So
Specimen.
representation specimen. All right. All right. Specimen of the plant kingdom comes from the Lord by way of heaven. And since the Lord's heavenly and spiritual, spiritual, spiritual,
Spiritual. Yeah, spiritual.
spiritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Spiritual
Spiritual.
forces act on the physical world. They they actually take on a visible form. That is where the soul or life of
Plant.
of plants comes from, and it is the reason that they represent something, as this is unknown in the world. It it's called a heavenly secret. Secret, yeah. It's called a heavenly secret. I also learned in depth about the nature of the inflow. What inflow? I also
Inflow.
learned inflow.
Inflow like initiate.
Inflow.
Inflow
Oh,
like influx.
oh,
Influx.
Influx like influence. Inflow. It's like any perception you can receive in your mind, like any ideas. For example, if you got
oh,
any idea about something, it means that idea
inflow, yeah.
inflows
Through your
inflows
mind.
like this.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Inflow into the life force of animals. A force that dissipates. What dissipates? No, dissipates.
Dissipates.
Dissipates like scatter, dispel, like disperse,
Dissipates.
dissipates.
Okay, this double S, right? Dissipates. Right,
Mm-hmm.
dissipate. Yeah, like disappear.
Yeah, dissipates. Mm-hmm. Disappear.
No, it's like go to waste. It's like waste or go to waste. All right. Anyway, dissipates entirely after they die. This will be discussed later with the Lord's divine mercy. What divine mercy?
It's like go, go, God's mercy,
Divine.
heavenly,
Divine.
heavenly, sacred, godly. It's
Okay.
what follows from God. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Divine mercy.
I had enough. I had enough. I can't carry on.
Mm-hmm.
This is very strong
Mm-hmm.
to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we finished this chapter, and that's all today. And I'm going to read next chapter tomorrow.
Take
And
care then. Good luck.
thank you for reading. Hmm.
No, no
I have
problem.
to go.
See
Yeah.
you
Take
tomorrow.
care.
Well
Goodbye.
done.
Mhm.
Bye.
And see you.
See you, bruh. Okay, so who's gonna open your book and start reading? No one's.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.